Season 5. This is our first 5 out of 5 season. Focus Ninja. This season also does pretty good at putting the focus on like most people. The villain is our bestie Moro.
What?
Oh, the song for this one is Phantom by Wavy, obviously. Of all the elemental masters that we met in season 4, there was no wind master or water master, which is a little sus.
That is sus.
The wind master is Moro.
What? We have an evil master.
We have an evil wind master, and he's a ghost.
What?
It's great. He's a ghost. The water master, we opened the season by learning that, like, so Kai's father was the master of fire, and remember Kai and Nia are siblings, and their mother was the master of water. So Sensei Wu thinks that Nia might be the next water master. So she starts to train to be the water ninja. And she's like, I might not even have the power. Like, we don't know. And she's like kind of reluctant. But the more she does it, the more she like gets better at it. You know, how training works. First, I'll go over Moro's backstory. So he's a ghost, but he's a teenager, you know? Like, he kind of looks the same age as the rest of the ninja, which means that he died as a teenager. So like, what happened? Moro was Sensei Wu's first student.
What?
Right? And Sensei Wu was like, you're probably going to be the green ninja. But obviously, that didn't happen. So he's like Tai Lung. He's like all mad about that. He's like, you made me believe. Like, that's what he sounds like.
Oh my god, from the Vandal.
Yes. He's literally him. And then he went off to find the realm crystal, which is, you remember the 16 realms, which is a crystal that you can go to any realm with. And then he died. And they ended up finding his bones.
Damn.
Right? Like, this child died and became a ghost. And the season starts. This season is so good. Like, the way I explain it isn't gonna make it sound that good, but like, just like the writing and like everything about it is like slay. The aesthetics are awesome because Moro's this green ghost. Ooh. And he wears this like really cool armor and he's the wind master. It's all great. So the season starts, they're like all happy. They're like, hey, there's no pressing issue right now, so we're gonna be ninja and we're going around saving people. Yeah. But Lloyd is sad that his dad just died.
Yeah.
And Kai is like, don't worry, buddy, I'll take care of you, because remember, he wants to protect him, you know? It's adorable.
And that's like basically his like life goal right now. Right?
Yeah, like Lloyd is like his like younger brother. They're like investigating this like sus thing that happened in a museum, but Lloyd is the only one there. And he's like talking to this guy, and the guy is like, here, come into this room and I'll show you what they stole. And then in the room, turns out the guy was possessed by Moro, and Moro goes from the guy into Lloyd.
What?
I know.
That's creepy.
I know. And Lloyd, like, and then it cuts away to the like guards of the museum, and they're like, "Who's your favorite ninja?" "Mine is Jay." Blah blah blah. And then you hear like Lloyd let out an ear-piercing scream. It's so scary. Oh. It's like if I was like a 9-year-old watching this, I'd be like, "What the fuck?" And then all of a sudden, there's like all this wind. Oh my god. And so then Lloyd goes back to the ninja. And the ninja also, we learned that they're relying too much on their elemental powers. And Sensei was like, try not to use your powers for a little bit. Because you're still like, you still want to be like good ninja even if you don't have your powers. And they're like, we'll never not have our powers. The moment Lloyd gets possessed, suddenly they can't use any of their powers anymore. And they're like, oh, what the fuck? So they go back to the monster, they're like, Sensei Wu, our powers are gone. Sensei Wu's also trying to open a tea shop, whatever. You know, Lloyd comes back. And they're like, oh, Lloyd, you're back. Oh, like, what happened to our powers? You know, blah, blah, blah. And then there's like all this wind. And Sensei Wu's like, that's not Lloyd. No! And then they have to like fight them, but Moro has his powers and the rest of them don't, and they like suck ass without their powers. So they're like defeated like immediately. And Sensei Wu's like, when are you gonna summon your friends? And Moro's like, you're pathetic students, don't give me a need to. Moro's awesome. He's so like evil, angsty teenager. And he's possessing Lloyd, and now Lloyd has black hair. And so he's like fucking them up. And like Mia's like, guys, we gotta get out of here, you know? Yeah. And Sensei was like, why are you attacking me? Sensei Wu, by the way, has been like having a staff for the whole series because he's a old master, you know? And Moro's like, I don't want you, I just want your staff. So they get on the flying pirate ship that they have, and they're like trying to fly away, but Moro's like, and there's like a bunch of like wind that's like stopping them from flying away. And then Kai goes down to Lloyd and he's like, Lloyd, come on, fight him, like break out of his possession. And it's like not working, and Moro's like, you're fucking stupid, I'm gonna kill you. Like Lloyd is, and like Mia's like, fuck, Kai's still down there, we gotta get him back. And just as like we hear Lloyd goes like, Kai? Mia like grabs Kai and takes him back up to the ship, and Kai's like, no, put me down. And then Moro takes over Lloyd again, and they're like, oh, at least we can fly away now, like he can't fly, right? This giant green ghost dragon appears.
What?
And Moro rides it up to chase after them. And then that's how the pilot ends. It's such a good pilot.
That's wild.
I know. Not pilot, premiere. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. So the next episode starts, they're like flying away from like the ghost dragon and Moro, and they're like, fuck, what do we do? And Moro ends up getting on the ship, and he ends up getting the staff, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously, because he's a baddie. It's like, turns out the staff is like engraved with a message, so if you like put dust on the staff and then kind of roll it, the message will like appear on the ground, you know, or whatever.
Where did he get it from?
His dad, God.
Ah, okay.
He got it from God, obviously.
Okay, that's true.
So he gets the staff and he's like, this is the first step to finding the realm crystal. And they learn that he wants to get the realm crystal to release the preeminent, which is like this big giant eldritch horror monster. They have to go to this haunted temple that's haunted by the ghost of this evil sensei whose name is Sensei Yang. And the thing about the temple is that if you stay in the temple past sundown, you'll turn into a ghost, which is what most people call dying.
Forever, or is it just like for the night, kind of like Fiona?
It's forever. So they go into the temple and they're looking for the next thing to get the scroll, and they have to face all their fears. So like Kai can't swim, so the room floods.
Kai is
the fire.
Oh, that makes sense.
So it's cute. Oh, and then we learn that ghosts, if ghosts touch water, they just dissipate, like they're gone. So
like gas. Like
yeah.
basically like gas.
Yeah, so Nia, being the water master, would be very helpful, you know?
Yeah, where is she?
Where is she at? She's training to be the water master. And she's making a little bit of progress.
Okay.
And they have to get the scroll of Erjitsu in the temple. And so they do all these tests, they do all these challenges, they end up tying themselves together so they don't get separated, which is cute. They get to the end and they have the scroll, but the sun's coming up and they're like, fuck, we gotta go. And they're like running and they're running. Cole's holding the scroll and it gets knocked out of his hand. And so he unties himself and he runs back to get the scroll. And then he comes out and he's like, guys, I got the scroll. The sun is up. This is great. And they're like, ah! Oh my God, Cole, I'm so sorry. And it's like such a sad scene.
He just turned into a
He's a ghost now.
No!
I know! Unfortunately, Cole did have to sacrifice his mortal body to get the scroll. But, you know, that's just how the cookie crumbles. And so the next episode, he's like struggling with it. Like he's having a little crisis. The rest of them are like learning air jitsu because you need to learn air jitsu to get the realm crystal. It's the whole thing. Air jitsu, you can fly.
Okay.
So they're like flying around now. It's great. And like Cole doesn't want to learn. He's like sitting in his bed. He's like sad. And then Nia comes in to like console him. She's like, it's okay, Cole. We all have bad days. For example, yesterday you died. And then they hug and his hands go through her. It's so sad. They're like, all right, let's go on our next mission, which is we're going to like climb up some snowy mountain. And Cole's like struggle busing with like, you know, holding on to things and also learning air jitsu because he's not used to like his new body. And so they're climbing up the mountain and they're chasing Moro, I think. Yeah, they're chasing Moro because Moro's going up the mountain. And so they got to get to him. And it's like really hard. And then Moro ends up like doing a lot of wind, you know? And then they're like about to fall off the mountain. And remember, they still don't have their power. They like all the three that learned air jitsu and have trained do air jitsu to get to the top. But Cole is like, I can't do it, guys. I can't do it. He's all insecure. And then Kai's like yelling at him from down. He's like, come on, Cole, you can do this. You're the strong one. It's so cute. And then Cole's like, I can't do it. And then Kai goes, okay, you're a ghost. So you can't die if you're already dead. So like, what are you afraid of?
That's true.
And then Cole's like, yeah, you're right. I'll give it a shot. And then that works. And he like jumps off to try to fly up. And it like works. And he flies up and they're like, yeah, good job, Cole. So they like chase after Moro and shit. And they're still like, we can't kill Moro because he's possessing Lloyd.
Yes, that's true.
And Moro also summoned his ghost friends who also have their little special powers. It's like a whole thing. Moro ends up completing his goal of that episode, but it's okay because at least Cole is no longer depressed. So they are like, okay, next thing, we need to go to the Cloud Recess.
What's its actual name?
The Cloud Kingdom. The people in the Cloud Recess end up being evil because they're working with Moro, and they lock all the ninja in a room with this big monster, which is very poorly animated, by the way. I don't know what the fuck happened. And then Cole is like backed into a corner, and then he goes, oh, wait a minute. I remember he's a ghost. And he just walks right through the wall to the outside, and then this is the best line of the whole series. He goes, oh, I'm such a dummy. It's so cute. His little Lego head. It's so precious. And then he like runs out and he like gets them out and they all escape. And then Moro
How
finds
can he touch things if he's a ghost?
he has to like really focus. Like earlier in the episode, like one of the members was like falling, and he was like reaching for them, and his like hand went right through them. He was like, and like if he focuses, he can manage to grab things like how Moro does, but he's not. You know, he has to like try. So it's like tough being a ghost. Poor Cole. Poor Cole, my bestie. I know. Moro is still possessing Lloyd, and so he's like chasing them or running away or something. I don't know who's chasing who. But Kai, once again, is fighting Moro one-on-one. He's like, Lloyd, I know you're in there. And then it works again a little bit. And Lloyd, like, comes out just, like, a little bit, just enough for Kai to, like, escape. And they all escape and they get to go home. Woo! And then what happens next? Ooh, this part's cool. Okay. Next episode. They have to go into the tomb of God. So, essentially, it was Dad, Lloyd's grandfather.
Okay.
The tomb, God's tomb, to find something. The realm crystal? It's the realm crystal. It's the realm crystal. Which is like the thing that you can go to any realm with the realm crystal, which is like very helpful. And there's riddles, right? It's a riddle. So Lloyd's mom, who has just hung around, by the way, she's still here, and she doesn't really do much except for spit exposition. So she says, like, the riddle is, a spinjitzu master can, a spinjitzu master cannot. If you want to find the way out, you must look back, or something. I don't know. I forgot the last part, but... The first one, there's like a bunch of different puzzles, and they all go together. And it's actually so cute because each ninja gets to solve one puzzle, which is so cute because there's 4 of them. So the first one, Zane figures out you have to do spinjitzu. So you're spinning around really quickly. You know that thing where it's like a thing where if you spin it and then it makes a little animation?
Oh!
It's like that. And then you have to do the motion that the guy in the little animation on the walls is doing.
That's so cool!
I know. I thought it was so clever. And because it's like, usually you spin the thing, but this time the
you
thing...
have the thing.
Yeah,
it's
you
like
have
you're
to
inside
spin.
the thing.
You're inside the thing. I've never wanted to do spinjitzu more. And so they do that. And then the next one is like, the like ground is falling, and they're jumping from pillar to pillar to get to the thing. And then Cole's like, if the first one was a spinjitzu master can, a spinjitzu master can do spinjitzu. So this one is a spinjitzu master cannot. Spinjitzu masters never give up. Ninja never quit. I think we just have to jump into the abyss. And they're like, Cole, no, don't do it. And he's like, I'm going. And he goes. And then they're like, are you alive? And he's like, yeah. And so they all jump down also. Oh, another thing about this episode is that this entire cave is underwater.
What?
Which is a problem because A, Cole is a ghost. And if he touches water, he dies.
What? That I did not know that.
Oh, did I forget to tell you that? If the ghosts touch water, they die. The cave is underwater. And, which is also bad for Kai, because remember, Kai can't swim.
I did not know that.
Yes, you did.
Okay, I forgot.
So Kai is like scared and Cole is like scared. And they end up in like the final room, which is like a maze, right? And they're going through the maze, and then Moro's there. But it's like a mirror maze, so they see him everywhere. Like at first, I didn't even think this was real. I thought this was like part of the puzzle. But Moro really is actually there. And they have this big fight. He like takes off an icicle to use as a sword, right? But then the icicle grows back really fast. So what they do is the ninja end up like rounding up Moro and then cutting all the icicles around him so they grow back and like trap him. And I thought that was so smart. This whole episode is so smart. I know. Like we're finally getting somewhere with this show. And so Moro's like, you know. He's like, you'll never get the realm crystal. And so they go and they completed all the mazes. So they find the realm crystal. And they're like, woohoo, we got it. And then Moro shows up. But as a ghost.
What?
With Lloyd in like a chokehold. He went out of Lloyd so that he could threaten Lloyd's life. And he says like, if you don't give me the realm crystal, I'm going to kill him. So smart, first of all.
That is kind of smart.
Like, that's probably how he got out of the trap, too, is he just stopped possessing Lloyd.
Wait a second. So Lloyd was in the trap thing?
Yeah, because Moro was possessing Lloyd.
Where has Lloyd been?
Being possessed by Moro.
How have they been taking him with them? Also, when you say that Moro appeared, it was Lloyd that appeared,
but he looks different. Like his hair is black now, and he has the eye makeup, and he's like more like his skin looks like more dead. It's not yellow like a Lego. And so he's like, I'm gonna kill Lloyd if you don't give me the realm crystal. And the ninja are like, let's try to figure something out.
No, while Lloyd is like, isn't this
right?
obvious?
No.
Like, we can figure a way to get it back once I'm alive.
Right? So while they're talking, they realize their powers are back. Because Moro is no longer possessing Lloyd. But
my God!
Right? But they're weak like Lloyd, right? Lloyd is weak, so the powers are weak, which is never a thing later in the series. But he can only like make a little bit of fire, and Jay can only make like a little bit of lightning. So they're like, okay, just let go of Lloyd and we'll give you the realm crystal. And then the moment he like lets go, they like all shoot like fire and electricity and stuff at him. And he's like, oh fuck, I didn't think this through. And then someone drops the realm crystal and the realm crystal falls in the water. Oh, and Lloyd also falls into the water. And Lloyd is like drowning because he's like still like weak because he's just been being possessed. In a stupid decision for the ages, Zane and Jay go to fight Moro, and Kai and Cole, of all people, run up to the like water and are like, they're like, what do we do? Maybe we should switch. And Kai and Cole should fight Moro, and Jay and Zane, the people that can interact with water, could go. And Cole's like, I can't go in because that will do nothing except kill me.
Yeah.
And then Kai's like, all right. And so Kai jumps in, and now he's holding Lloyd and can't swim, and now they're just both drowning. So he's holding Lloyd, and Lloyd is kind of like passed out, he's like unconscious. And Cole is like, okay, I can do this. And he reaches his hand out. And remember, he's like really focused because he's like a ghost now. And he grabs Kai, and he pulls them up.
But wait, how can he get into water though?
He didn't touch the water. Lloyd's passed out. Kai's holding Lloyd. Kai can't swim. Cole grabs Kai's hand from the shore and then brings him up.
Okay.
It makes sense. But still, it might have been smarter to just have Jay, who can swim, go and get him. With all that commotion happening, Moro ends up making out with the realm crystal, which is like, yeah, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
But now, Moro is no longer possessing Lloyd, so they bring Lloyd back to the ship, and, his mom is like, oh, my son! And so, like, she's happy. And they're like, we're sorry, Sensei, we couldn't get the realm crystal. And he's like, but you got Lloyd.
Aww.
So, like, we're a full team again.
Aww.
I know.
Yeah, like, why were they deliberating his life?
Like, why were they even pretending?
Like, his mom would have been like, yeah, we got the crystal, but where's my son?
Right.
Like,
it's like, oh yeah, about that. Unfortunately, Lloyd did have to sacrifice his life to get the crystal.
but we got it!
Yeah. So they're like, okay, this is bad. He has the realm crystal. He can now release the ancient evil that he wants to release from the ghost realm, right? And then he goes to like this village called the Village Sticks, and he does the ritual, and then the big giant monster is coming out. So the residents of the Village Sticks are being terrorized, and they're like, oh man, if only there was like a girl who could control water that could kill all these ghosts. So the big monster is spitting out ghosts, and is a big monster that's stopping people. So there's two problems. There's three problems. Because Moro is also still running around being evil with his Windmaster powers.
And with the relatively... No. What? And the stone of relativity.
Oh, that's what's releasing the monster. That's how all the ghosts are coming in.
Oh!
Because it opened the door to the ghost realm. So there's all these ghosts flying around, and Mia, who has spent the whole season figuring out how to control water, is like, oh, this is great. So she's just spraying hose down, and they're all disappearing, and this is like awesome. It's like going well, and everyone's really happy. And then the big evil monster starts to be more a problem, and they're like, okay, we got to figure out how to do this.
Okay.
So they get all of the residents of the Village Sticks, because it's a village, it's like a whole bunch of people. They put them all on a boat, and they're driving the boat away, and they're like, you know what, the monster can have the village. We just gotta save the people. So that's what like most of the ninja are doing.
Yes, like Marvel.
Yes.
From the Thor movie.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what they do actually? So Moro knows that Lloyd is like, at large again because he's no longer possessing him. So they devise a plan, and Moro's still a ghost, where they dress Nia up like as the Green Ninja, and then she's running around, and then Moro captures her, and Moro's gonna do his little villain speech where he's like, Master Wu always told me the Green Ninja was the most powerful, but you're just a little boy, like stuff like that. Mm-hmm. That's actually probably not what he says. I think I made that up. But he's like about to like kill the Green Ninja, and then she starts controlling water because it's actually Mia in the Green Ninja outfit.
Oh!
Yeah. And
Oh my god.
I know, so smart. And Moro's like, oh fuck. And like she almost gets Moro, but he like blows the water away with the wind. And so they fight for a little bit, and then she runs off, and then Moro actually finds Lloyd, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna kill this kid. And then he has one of his most famous lines, like it's all over like Ninjago TikTok and such. He says, you think you're better than me? No one is better than me. But he's like such a baddie. Oh my god.
I love that.
I know, he's just so evil. I love it. And so they're like fighting, and Lloyd manages to get the realm crystal, so the ghosts stop coming out. And that's all that. The monster's already here, though. They got to deal with the monster. But the realm crystal, he now has it, which is good. And Will's like, And so he like grabs it, and they're like fighting hand to hand, but it's the realm crystal. So they're literally falling between realms as they're fighting. It's so good. It's such a good set piece. They end up landing in one of Lego's other shows. So there's another show going on like at this time called the like Legend of Chima, and it's about all these animals, and they fall into that show.
That is so freaking funny.
It was such a good like cinematic universe moment. It was so perfect. They were there for like a second. Like they land there, and then all the characters in that show turn around and are confused, and then they go back to their business. And then like Lloyd and Moro are still like fighting. And then they end up in the cursed realm. Remember last season, Garmadon sacrificed himself to the cursed realm to defeat the last villain. And Lloyd sees Garmadon!
Oh, what the heck? His daddy's
like in like chains.
Wait, what? Wait, okay, how did he get there again?
It was for the spell that they did to defeat the last villain. It's complicated.
Did he sacrifice himself there, or was
they were taking someone out of the cursed realm, and for the spell to work, they had to then put someone in.
And his dad was normal now, and now he's like, why is he changed? He's a good boy now.
I know, he's a good person. So he's like, Dad, my father, I hope I can see you again. And he's like, this is the last time we'll see each other, probably. It's not, but it's sad regardless. And then they keep fighting, and they go through all the realms, and we see a whole bunch of realms. They go to the cloud recess, they go everywhere. It's great. So what ends up happening is that they get back to the correct realm that they're supposed to be on, Ninjago. And the ship is like going away, and they realize that there's like a trench, and the monster's chasing them, but it's in water. But the reason it's not dissolving in the water is because it put a bunch of the village Dick's houses like on its like feet, and it just looks like an Eldritch horror, like it's full of tentacles. I'll show you. And it has a bunch of houses on its feet. Imagine a Lego set of
that. Looks so freaking scary.
I know. Do you see that hole?
Yeah.
There's ghosts flying out of it.
Wait, it looks like that ball from The Incredibles.
Yeah. It does. Yeah. So they have to like get to the trench, and then the monster will fall and then dissolve in the water. But the boat is like not fast enough, and so it's like about to get them, and then Mia's like having an epiphany or something about some character arc that we like didn't get to see, I guess. And I'm kidding. We got to see it, but I don't really understand how this ended up how it did. And then she unlocks her true potential, and then makes a big giant tidal wave to knock the monster out. So they're able to get away in time, and the monster falls into the trench. So yay, Mia, girl boss.
What was her like revelation? What did she figure out?
Well, she's like has like gifted kid burnout, and she realized that if she doesn't get something perfect on the first try, then she just gives up, and that's why she didn't want to be the water ninja. But she ended up like throughout the season, she ended up like realizing that the more she worked at it, the like she would actually be able to do it. Like real life,
like practicing.
But like gifted kid burnout, you're like so used to doing everything perfect on the first try, which has kind of been her character. And then her little epiphany was like she's remembering all the times as a child that if she didn't do something perfectly, she would just give up. And she's like realizing like, wow, I could have been doing so much stuff. But one of the clips they show is like little kid Mia eating ice cream, and then the ice cream falls, and she starts crying. And I'm like, why is that? Like a problem? Like she's not giving up. Like her ice cream fell. She's 5. Let her cry.
You wanted to lick it off the ground?
Like, I'm not giving up. Kids, that's what you're supposed to do.
But also I just realized that my whole life has been gifted person burnout because like, oh my god.
Yeah. She's so relatable. So that's what she's been doing all season, and I guess she's like cured now because she realized that she needs to like not have gifted kid burnout, so she's okay now.
Yay!
And she can control water, so that's always a plus.
She's Katara.
And then the season ends? Question mark? I think it does end. And what else happens? I don't think anything else happens this season. But then Moro, because I forgot to tell you how Moro died.
What?
Oh my god, this is crazy. Oh my god. Okay. So while the preeminent is drowning, right? Mm-hmm. It like is mad basically that Moro is the one that killed it. Kind of like how the Great Devourer ate Pythor. Like the big bad monster always turns on the villain that released him. One of its tentacles reaches up and wraps around Moro and is pulling Moro down with it. And Moro is like hysterical. He's like, ah! And he's like shooting all this wind at the water to try to keep his like the ghost body away from touching the water. Oh my god, like you feel the desperation. Because he's like working so hard, and then Sensei Wu flies by on his dragon. Sensei Wu has a dragon, don't worry about it. Okay. Sensei Wu flies by on his dragon and reaches out his hand, and Moro's still holding the realm crystal also. He reaches out his hand, and he's like, drop the realm crystal, take my hand, I can save you, because that's his former student. Drop the realm crystal, I can save you. And then Moro, is about to take Sensei Wu's hand, but then reaches back and says, you can only save those who want to be saved. and then the tentacle takes him into the water. Oh my goodness, bro. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. Like that scene, just like I remember watching for the first time, it's like a losing game trying to stay away from the water, knowing that this is all his fault, knowing that he's gonna die because of his own actions.
If it isn't the consequences of my own actions.
Yeah. And then Sensei Wu would have saved him and would have treated him well like he treated Lloyd, but Moro just he just knows that he could never be a good guy. Yay, perfect season!
Yay!
10 out of 10! No one could have done better. Unfortunately, that brings us to season 6.
Unfortunately.